It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
We are live right now on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Carl Coulange alongside Mr. Greg Polius from the Smoke and Mirrors podcast, which you can find on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network on Mondays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Greg, we haven't seen you in a while because you decided to leave us to get your own show because you're that much of a diva.
Oh, man.
How's it feel to be back?
It feels great to be back.
It's always the wide receivers, you know what I mean?
He's the Bobby Brown. He's the Bobby Brown of the group. You know what I'm saying? He's the one. He's the Justin Timberlake. He's the one who has to go solo.
If you let Carl tell it, this was my idea from the start. If you let Carl tell it, I just happened to hop on for the ride, and I'm happy to be here. That's it. But shout out to you, boss man, for giving us the platform to do this, because a lot of us didn't even know we were into this podcasting thing until it started.
Listen, it's a great thing to be able to. It's a great thing to be able to influence people and keep our minds. I think doing this has definitely throughout the last year kept us sane for the most part, you know, and I enjoy this platform and debating with you guys. I enjoy the group chats, waking up to 1,000 messages about what are we going to talk about on the show. That gets crazy within itself. But Mr. Box Office, you are here. How's your vacation of being off the lives? Do you miss us not being able to come in weekly? How you doing?
I'm good, man. You know, I had to find other ways to keep myself busy. You know, I had to hop on, go across the country. You know, I ain't got nothing to do. Sports hitless don't want me no more. You know what I mean?
Listen, that's Declan. Listen. Talk to Declan and Greg for taking up your time because apparently, talk to those guys.
See this? You see what this turned into, Travis? This turned into Carl to taking a big dump on Smoke and Mirrors and trying to put all the blame on us.
Right. First of all, I'm gonna need with my Smoke and Mirrors invite because Greg, you gonna stop shouting me out and not let me come on there and get my rebuttal.
You see. But today we are here to talk some football news that involves both of you guys' teams. I tried to get it when the news broke out, but you know, we got to pay the bills and everyone's busy. But our reactions to the trade, we all know it. Jets trading quarterback Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers for a 2021 6th-round pick and 2nd round and 4th-round picks in 2022. So, Greg, since you're the local kid, let me start with you. What was your first reaction when you saw that pop up on your phone about the trade?
First of all, I've been feeling too well. I was taking a nap, and I got my phone went bananas. I looked at it and slammed my phone back down and went back to sleep because I was initially I compared to the Josh Rosen deal. They got a 2nd and a 5th for Josh Rosen, right? And Josh Rosen hasn't even, played so much as a full season in the NFL. So when I looked at it, my initial thought was like, man, we couldn't even get something better back. Like we have to wait till next year to get a 2nd round pick. So I was a little annoyed at that. But then taking a step back after the emotional reaction to it, I was like, you know what? I'm happy for Sam because Sam deserves better than what the Jets gave him for the first 4 years of his career. I think he's going to do actually really well. I still think he has a world of talent. We just were not able to provide him with the tools necessary to succeed as an organization. So I'm happy for him. The Jets have a lot of work to do, and they need not miss on these picks the next 2 years.
So, Travis, I'm going to ask you the same question. When you got that notification from whether it was the Sports Hit List or whether it's from ESPN, what was your first reaction to see the news?
It was funny. I was with my sister, who's a Jets fan. We was on our way to the airport, and I was like, oh, man, y'all dumping y'all trash on us, man. Come on now. But no, it's not even like that, man. Listen, first of all, I love the compensation that we were able to give. We were able to still keep our 1st-round pick. That's important to me, in my opinion. We didn't really give up much, like a 2nd-round pick next year, a 6th-round pick this year, and it was
a 6th this year and a 4th next year, a 4th and a 2nd next year.
That's nothing.
To me, that's nothing. Like it would have been nice to get a Robbie Anderson back in that deal.
I said that in the group chat. I said y'all could have had Robbie Anderson back because with the number 8 pick now, I feel like we're in position to maybe get Jalen Waddle.
You could do whatever you want with the number 8 pick. Now you got your quarterback.
Exactly. So I feel like y'all could have had Robbie Anderson if y'all wanted him. He had a good season for us. But as far as Sam Darnold as a player, I'm still in wait and see mode. I think we can all agree, like Greg said, that the Jets organization did not do its job. They didn't hold up their bargain by putting the pieces around him to help him develop, whether it be from the coaching staff to whether it be from the players. So now he's coming down to Carolina, man. We got weapons. DJ Moore, he's been a top 5 receiver the past couple of years statistically. Robbie Anderson had a huge year for us last year. Hopefully Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, you know what I mean? Because we all know what a beast he is out the backfield. Defense is up and coming, so hopefully, we'll be able to do that. So Sam has the weapons. He has we got Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator from LSU in our national championship year. He's running that Saints offense. So hopefully we will see now, okay, Sam, was it really the Jets or was it just you? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's not even a question. It was absolutely the Jets. As a Jets fan, I can 100% tell you it absolutely was the Jets. Because you could see flashes of the talent there.
Right.
But when Jamison Crowder is your number 1 receiver for 2 years, that's a fault of the organization. This is not a slight to Jamison Crowder because he's good at what he does, but he is not anybody's ex receiver.
Exactly.
So Greg,
and we're still in position. If it doesn't work out with Sam, we didn't give up our first round pick. We can come back to the drawing board.
Stop reminding me of that, bro. Stop.
Greg, let me ask you this: heading into the draft,
everything else getting the first for him.
Is it a great gamble that the Jets are now relying on somebody who's unproven in the NFL to basically engineer the new era, right? Because going into the draft, that's the mindset is that they're going to draft a new quarterback, right? As opposed to building Sam Darnold. Now, everyone wants to say, I see people in the comments saying Sam Darnold was trash, he's garbage, and putting him in on the blame. But I'm of the mindset 2 years in, shouldn't they spend more time to build him as opposed to trying to gamble on somebody who's not NFL proven yet? Or is this how the NFL works?
So let me preface this by saying this is going to be a Travis McKay length answer.
I got a Travis McKay has a Travis McKay length answer. So go ahead.
I mean, that's nothing new. But to your very first point, as in terms of them counting on someone who's unproven, it pisses me off because it's the hype train around Zach Wilson. To me, there is so much hype around him that he is not going to exceed the hype. They're comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, who's already a Super Bowl winning quarterback and an MVP. And this guy, Zach Wilson, who hasn't even seen a legitimate defense in college, is going to somehow come in and be the franchise savior. I hope he is, but I am tempering expectations that this guy is going to come in and be the man right away. And to your point about building up Sam, I was of the notion, I said on Smoking Mirrors on Monday, I wouldn't have mind Sam being a bridge quarterback. And you let Zach Wilson, sit a half a year, learn the playbook. Because like I was telling Declan on the show, I think there's too much of this. We need to see what this quarterback can do right away. I get it. The new regime, they want their guy. They didn't draft Sam. But sometimes we have to break a mold and do things to kind of foster a winning culture. And the Jets have not done that in my entire lifetime, outside of maybe 1 or 2 seasons, maybe 3.
So Travis, what are your thoughts on that? Again, when I try to compare, I always try to compare the NFL to the NBA where you're developing players. And it's tough to see a rookie, or not a rookie, but a 2-year guy traded, right? Haven't even seen him in his prime, only about 22, 23 years old. Is that fair? Does that happen often in the NFL where you just give up on a guy so you can get another rookie to come in?
Well, to your first question, Carl, that's the name of all professional sports, where all teams are drafting unproven guys and hoping for them to come in and save the franchise. The Cavs did that with LeBron. The Lakers did that with Kobe. Every player who's coming into professional sports is unproven. You don't know if that player is going to succeed or not. That's just the name of the game. But as far as the development process, up until about a month or so ago, I was on the side of, no, you keep Sam, draft weapons, and fully see what he's capable of, because we all know Robert Saleh's coming in with that Kyle Shanahan zone offense, and we all know it's a very quarterback-friendly offense. So let's see what happens when you get some talent around Sam. But up until a month ago, I heard a theory which really makes sense to me, where we all know by drafting a new quarterback, you're restarting that clock, that 4 to 5 year window when you have a QB on the rookie contract. And even with that, I was still on the Sam fence. But what happened this year with the salary cap and the salary cap going down, that also means rookie salaries are going down from last year. So you're paying Sam what the players got in the year between Kyler and Baker Murray, probably around that money.
Who is Baker Murray?
Kyler Murray.
He's been off so long. He hasn't thought about football. It's been a while. You know, he's back in the group of things.
But hold on. Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. So if you think 3-4 years down the line when the salary cap, bounces back, you're going to be paying a rookie quarterback even less of what you would have been paying him in a normal year. And that will take up less of your salary cap and you'll have more money to build around that team. So when I heard that, that's when I became on, all right, Jets, go draft a quarterback and restart that clock. And that looks like what they're going to do.
I have a problem with that, though, because to me, that's like breeding a losing culture. Like if you have a guy that you haven't really seen what he can do without legitimate pieces around him, you don't really know what you have, right?
True.
Put pieces around him to see if he can be – because I'm telling you right now, Sam is going to go and Carolina's going to compete because now he has something he's never had. They're not going to be – he's a step above Teddy Bridgewater. We don't know if he's a top 10 quarterback because he just hasn't had that opportunity yet. So the Jets to look 4 years down the road to the rookie pay scale to me is a very Jet thing to do.
It's not a Jets thing. That's the NFL now. That's the new way of the game.
Think about
winning these Super Bowls on rookie quarterback contracts. That's the way. I mean, you got Tom Brady. He's the GOAT, so that's an outlier right there. But
he's the exception to the rule. Yeah,
exactly. But that's the new way of the game.
Who won the Super Bowl last? Not this year. It was the Chiefs last year.
You had Patrick Mahomes, who was still on his deal. Russell Wilson. The Eagles. Carson Wentz didn't win it, but he was on his rookie deal. Who else was in the past couple of years? It's just kind of the new wave of the NFL because you have this wage scale, so you can control these salaries, which means you can put more talent. If you strike on that quarterback, you have the ability to put more talent around him and make a run at it. It's just the new wave of the NFL.
Now going into this draft, Greg, it's guaranteed that you guys are going Wilson.
That seems to be the consensus, especially on Jets Twitter. All over the place that they're going to take Zach Wilson. His pro day, everybody loved his pro day. They can't stop raving about this kid. I, however, am not sold on Zach Wilson just yet. I need to see it to believe it because the hype train they're getting is more hype than Trevor Lawrence, who was the best quarterback in college football for the last 3 years.
There's a reason for that though, because we've been talking about Trevor Lawrence for 3-4 years now. So at that point, you start to find things to see to see that he's not good.
See, I disagree with that.
But I agree with you. But that's the way it works. And now we have Zach Wilson. He's the new hot flavor. Everybody want to talk about him. You know what I mean? He had a good pro day. We seen the clip of the big cross the body arm throw. Mm-hmm. Now everybody want to do it at their pro days. That's just how the cycle works. It just is.
But it makes me think though, thinking 2 years ahead. He has 2 years. No. Given the trajectory of the Jets, how you perform as a quarterback,
just about.
You're only giving him 2 years, and then what? Then you draft another quarterback,
and then the cycle starts all over again, Carl.
Yeah,
especially if the Jets are bad and they don't build a team around him.
Yeah,
I think every team plans for realistically 2 to 3 years in the future. You know what I mean? So you got to sit there and have that plan and try.
So that means your Panthers are going to give Darnold 2 years then. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I've heard. Because basically I heard we're going to pick up his 5th-year option, and so we'll see what happens. So that gives us an extra year. So we'll see what happens in 2 years.
Are your Panthers done making moves, or are there any other moves that you would like to see them make?
I think we're pretty good because there's nothing really out there left. As far as
where did Curtis Samuels go? I can't remember.
He ended up with Washington.
Okay.
So, we have potential to maybe trade back because we put out the rumor today that we're not off the board of still drafting a quarterback. Even though we all know
it's crazy.
Right. We all know that's stupid, but that's just playing the game. We all know it's a limited amount of quarterbacks in this draft. So you want one of those teams like maybe Denver or the Patriots to get a little worried, may come offer you a little trade package like, hey, come on now, we might take this guy, so you better offer us something. We all know how the game works.
Now, I wouldn't mind the Jets. I know they're in love with Wilson, but I wouldn't mind Justin Fields at 2. Because somebody, and I forgot who was in the comments.
My sister said the same thing. It's funny. I want Justin Fields.
You know,
your sister's a big fan, Travis?
Yeah, she a Jets fan. You know, poor thing. I've been trying to help her. She live a hard life.
The only other news is Watson being dropped by some of his endorsers. Beats dropped him. Apparently Nike did, I guess, suspending his, what are our thoughts here? And I guess the Jets have kind of given up on that because when the season ended,
I think all the trade partners.
That was the talk.
I think everybody's kind of like
going in for
we
Watson.
Good.
So
you know Messi
here?
Right now.
Is it too early for them to drop, given that he hasn't been proven guilty of anything yet, or is it the right move considering?
I mean, if we're going by societal standards today, it's not necessarily is he guilty. It's how does he make my brand look being associated with him. So right. I saw it coming eventually because there's no traction in this case on behalf of Watson's part. We just keep hearing more and more allegations, but we're not hearing from his side per se outside of, I think Rusty Harden made a few comments a couple weeks ago, but outside of that, we haven't really heard anything. And it's almost like I kind of want this thing to go to trial so we can find out what's really going on, what's happening.
Travis, what are your thoughts about the endorsers? Did you kind of expect that to happen? I mean, we've seen it in...
after that interview yesterday from one of the accusers, it was bound to come because that was a pretty, damaging interview right there that she gave out. For a while, I've kind of been on the fence about, because we discussed this in the chat. I have questions on both sides, like why are certain things looking this way and why are certain things looking from that side. So I've been kind of on the fence, but the fact that the number of accusers continues to grow. The interview yesterday, I believe one of the accusers actually filed charges with the Houston Police Department. It's not looking very good for Deshaun Watson right now. I'm pretty sure that commissioner exempt list is coming his way. Right now, you might not necessarily have to do anything because it's the off season, but I'm pretty sure by time the closer we get to training camp, and if this isn't resolved, there's going to be some talk about that commissioner exempt list. So the Texans might be without Deshaun Watson either way at this point. So if he gets on that list, he ain't playing for a while until they figure this all out.
Now, I didn't get a chance to ask you guys this, but I'm pretty sure, I'm working with you guys over the last 3-4 years, I kind of get an understanding. You guys love adding the one game, right? Is that fair to say, or are we against the NFL adding going to 17?
I only love it if the players get paid more.
Right. You know what's funny? I love football season, but by the time the Super Bowl is done, I'm kind of ready for a little bit of a break.
What? Come on, listen. I went into my class. I made a whole argument about how you can never get enough football, and now you're telling me the flip side.
You know what it is between the show.
Fair weather fan, you are something else.
They have all the information.
Nope.
You see, the show is making him do more research now because he doesn't look like a football.
Right. So it's I got to.
He's got to come up with his notes. He's got to.
Right. So it's like, all
this
right.
Is funny.
But
this
17. I mean, we all know as far when it comes to football, what makes it great is the shortness of the season. I mean, it's not can't think of the word right now. I'm having a brain freeze. But the urgency of the season, you know what I mean? We only have 16 weeks to get all this in. I mean, week 17, the players, like I said, if they get paid more, which I don't think they are, they're just kind of spreading the checks out even more. Like, I think I've seen something where
Manny going in on you on the comments.
I know. I see Manny going in on the comments, man. Get out of here with your Raiders team. Talk about my team going to be 4-3.
Rick says, as a season ticket holder, he loves it. Tired of paying for bullshit preseason games. That's what Rick said. I get
that. From a season ticket holder, I can understand.
Shout out to Rick.
Shout out to Moneybag Rick.
Right, like season ticket holder. Like,
what is he saying? 95 South pull up. That's what Rick says, right?
Team 95 South.
Yeah,
I got Team 95 South needs to send KJ a Dolphins jersey because he's the one responsible for that.
Yeah, for your kid, for your son, right? Becoming a Dolphins fan. Yeah,
he's. I'm holding him solely responsible. And matter of fact, it was like a few days ago. He just came out of nowhere in the kitchen about, "Hey, Daddy, I just want you to know that the Jets suck."
Yeah.
He at
That
that
hurt.
age. He at that
Guys,
age
guys,
to
before
come
I
at
let
your
you
team.
go, for all those people who are here, please keep the views up because we got a big debate coming that spawned since yesterday. Special shout out to Dean Caps. This whole Kobe and Jordan thing is resurrected now. So let me get your quick opinion, guys, before I let you go. According to the Kobe fans, Kobe is he's a better version of Michael Jordan. So I figured, you know what, it's been kind of a dead week in sports and in basketball. We're kind of just waiting for the postseason to start. That's what I'm waiting for, at least. Travis, what are your thoughts here? Kobe versus MJ. What do you think over here?
I mean, I think that's always been the narrative. Kobe was always more of Jordan-like than LeBron was. Like, that's always kind of been the narrative. Like,
right, but I kind of felt like LeBron kind of took over that Kobe, but the Kobe fans didn't forget, and they still kind of put themselves in that conversation.
Well, yeah,
so
because Kobe was never like he didn't come in with the hype that LeBron had. So therefore, it was never that. But everybody's always said like, no, the better comparison, it's not Michael Jordan and LeBron, it's Kobe and Mike. So therefore, I mean, of course, I'm gonna go with Mike because I always hated the Lakers. So therefore, I got to go with Mike real fast.
Right, Greg, I know how you feel about Kobe. I know, I know your vendetta against Kobe.
Let me just say that as the years went on, I did gain a better respect for Kobe and what he did on the court. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Greg, what are your thoughts here before the people come in? And the Laker enthusiasts are flying purple and gold. There's you know how they roll. They don't play that.
That's because Kobe. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. There was just a flash behind me that can't seem to come out.
I said, "What's up?" It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. You got to make a guest appearance. It's all good. It's all good.
They said hello. Yes, Kobe is not my guy by any stretch. Retirement Kobe is by far my favorite as opposed to the player Kobe. Right. But I think in terms of skill, I think Kobe was a more skilled basketball player than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had the better career and is thus gonna be looked at as the better overall player because of his career accolades.
That's the best way to put it. That's a good way to put it for sure. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here on the Sports Hit List.
Hold on, before we tap out, man.
What's up?
Let me give a birthday shout out to your fellow Celtic fan, my fellow Hazeman brother. My right side all day, David Adams, man. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday to David. Right now is not too happy with Celtic because we're not playing well. Paul Pierce is out here with strippers getting fired by ESPN. It's been a hard 50 views. I know.
Disney.
Let me have it.
Disney.
And you know what's so
Disney
crazy?
don't play that.
You know what's so crazy? I try to defend him, but at some points, like as much as he says on air, and I'm sitting there like, all right, whatever. He's my guy. I love him as a player. I can't defend him no more. Like I can't. I just can't. And the worst part of it is I'm gonna get the brunt of it. Because chances are I'm the only fan that loves Paul Pierce like that. So
you are absolutely the only fan who loves Paul.
And it's crazy. Like he's making me out here look bad. Like, what are you doing,
man?
He
gonna bounce back. He gonna end up at like Fox Sports or something. He only got fired because it's Disney. Disney.
Yeah, I know. But why'd he have to do that though?
But you are a former Finals MVP. You're a former NBA player. You telling me you couldn't muster up at least a little 500 views? Like
it was late at night. It was like 2:00 in the morning. Bro, it was 2:00 in the morning.
Nah, son, no, I don't want to hear that. I sent you a link of a live stream by a YouTuber with an actual stripper with clothes on who had more views than that.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't. I can't defend it. I really can't. You guys take care. Let me bring in Kenny and Anthony so we can get this debate going on. You guys make sure you share it because I know people have been wanting to see this debate. As it was a last minute thing, I said to Ray Jobs, I said to everybody, I said, let's do this. Kenny Irby's in the building. Kenny, how you doing, sir?
What side is Kenny on? What side did he pick?
You know what side he's on already. Anthony, you're gonna have to flip your phone, sir. We already know what side Kenny's on.
Young Magic, you need to act like you've been here before, bro. You know you gotta flip your phone.
There he is.
Like, we gotta go through this all the time. I'm ready to sit here and just watch it. Like,
are you good?
Excuse me.
Are you good?
I'm great.
You're great. Kenny, how you doing, sir?
All right, I'm all right. I just want to, on just starting a sad note, one of my coordinators passed away last week, and I want to send love and prayers to her family. She was 29 years young. She was a wonderful spirit. and we miss her dearly. And to the Brown family, Jaleesa Brown, you're always in our prayers. Thank you.
Condolences to the Brown family for sure, man. It's really sad to hear. My NFL guys, you guys take care. I got my NBA guys are here ready to go.
I mean, I'm ready to stick around. Like, come on now. You always ready to kick us out, Carl.
Go watch it. Yo, go watch it. Ray Jarvis of the Gray Area. How you doing, Ray?
What up, fellas?
We got Mike Miller's in the building. Mike, how you doing, sir? Can you hear me?
What up, y'all?
My man Mike, the co-man. Don't be pulling no Paul Pierce on us here, brother. You know we already know the deal, man.
You see that?
Yes, I do see it. I do see it, man. How's it going? So this debate pretty much started because Dean Caps in the Sports Hitlers group decided to put that Kobe Bryant was a better version of Mike, and that's what he said. So we know the Laker fans are going to back this up, and Ray Jarvis posted a Eric Siegel type novel, chapter, book, whatever you want to call it, post.
It's called the Bible. It was gospel.
It was okay. Sure, if you want to call it that. But I am here. I figured, you know what? Let me try to get some Laker fans in here. I texted Mike. I'm like, Mike, where do you stand on this? Mike said no, in caps, absolutely not. So I already know how Kirby feels about Kobe. So let me start off here. Ray Jarvis, what was your...
I don't want to go first. You don't want to go first? No.
Wow. Okay,
no.
Okay.
Let the people who... We set the tone yesterday, so let the people who say no go first.
Okay, so Mike, I'm going to open the floor to you first. Mike, what are your thoughts here about... was Kobe a better version of MJ? Where do you stand on that?
No, he was a lesser version.
2-word answers? That's it?
Shocking, but yeah, that's it.
Kenny, do you have anything to back up to that point? Was he a better version? What do you have to say to the Laker fans? I know you read all the posts in the group. What are your thoughts here?
Actually, I didn't read any of the posts because it's nonsense to me. But I guess it'll be short and sweet because I guess a lot of guys are going to come up and ring off all his accolades, his points, his this, his that, his records, and they're all true. And I'm not knocking any of that. But I can't knock the Game 7 way he just gave up on his team. I can't knock the leadership, the lack of leadership ability that he had, and where a lot of people didn't even want to go there as free agents because they just didn't want to mess with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they liked him as a person, but as far as a teammate, I think Lamar Odom and Paul Gasol were the buffer in between him and the rest of the team. And, you know, the stories about him coming and saying, you know, I guess bad-mouthing whoever's getting traded and stuff like that is just, and then breaking up a dynasty because he wanted his own thing. So if you think of basketball as a team aspect, Kobe Bryant was kind of the antithesis of that because all he wanted to do was kind of showcase his talent, his will, so he could get to Mike's standard, right? And Mike was the standard, no matter. So it's like, it's kind of hard to say is better than, because I guess like the new Mustang is better than a 67 Mustang, right? But the classic joint is what everybody loves. Is what the most, I guess, the sought after collectible.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm sure you are.
I'm glad you said that.
Anthony, let him finish. Can you let him finish?
This is why he gets blocked, bro.
Can he still block?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like he was wrapping up.
I think Facebook takes off the block after a couple of years, so I have to re-block him. But I haven't had any.
He doesn't.
But I
like
just sum it up. It's just like Kobe as a talent, Kobe as a thing. He was a great player, right? And he was a great copycat of Michael Jordan. But as far as the original, he was just a faded version. Like if you take a Xerox copy of a print, he was a Xerox copy. He was pretty good, but he wasn't like the original.
Yo, Mike, what's good, Mike? You good? I see your face over there.
Yo, I'm loving this. I'm glad.
All right, I
want to hear from y'all.
Professor.
Okay, I'm gonna call on Anthony Mullen. Go ahead, Mr. Magic. Go ahead.
Me. Yes. Let me start where he left off. Right. He talked about what did he start with? Quitting. So quitting should go against you or something like that. Is that why you stated that, Mr. Kenneth?
No. In the Game 7 in the playoff, he quit on his team and just let everybody just like, I don't want to play on the court. Not retired. Not I didn't want to play on the court. He decided not to play.
Okay.
And his team got eliminated.
Again, let's talk about the standard because you said you like the classic, but the new one, you always want to critique. So okay, let's go to the classic. Did the classic not quit?
In what? In the game? What game he quit in?
Did he not quit?
In what game?
The whole season games? Like, what do you pick him?
What,
Did he not
so which
quit?
one? Which game did he quit in?
He's talking about him going be
All right, no,
retiring for a year and a half.
it's cool.
That's what
It's
he's
cool.
talking about.
It's cool. It's different. It's different. I have a different question.
Is the same as quitting in the middle of the game?
How many times did he retire?
He's
How
talking
many
about
times
the two
did he
times he
retire?
retired. That's what he's talking about.
Idiotic.
No, don't make my point. You don't know.
Because that's not what I said.
I'm asking you a question.
That's not what I said. But you asking a question of something I did not say.
I didn't say.
I said he quit in the middle of a game. In the middle of a game, he quit. Retirement does not count.
Okay, and I'm saying that he quit.
So say it, but don't ask me questions. You're not saying nothing. You ask me questions about something I didn't say.
I need you to.
You asked a question about something I didn't say.
And you know you're a little remedial. I have to make sure you're following along. You're a little remedial, so I gotta make sure
there's nothing to follow along to.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna answer it for him. He quit 3 times, right? Okay, boom. So the first time, what happened? I guess we give him his pad. Dad died, everything like that. He wanted to play baseball. We get that, right? Second time he quit. Can you tell me what happened? Okay, you don't want to tell me. I'll tell you. What happened was because he couldn't keep his coach and stuff like that, he wanted to take his ball and go home. He quit. Why? Kobe didn't do that. How many coaches did Kobe go through? How many rebuilds did Kobe go through? And he never quit. And MJ's supposed to be the greatest. And MJ's supposed to be the greatest competitor. That doesn't sound like a competitor to me. And then
talking about the second time in '98.
Oh, you boring, bro.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yo, you bored, bro. He won at will. He got bored. He wants to play his game back.
Okay. And then you talking about people not wanting to play with him or whatever. What happened to his Wizards deal? Why didn't he get that
Chris Paul? With Chris Paul thing? That's what you're gonna bring up?
No, I'm not talking about that. See, again, stop.
What are you talking about?
That's the hard part. Don't do it.
I was
now
get our takes off all this back and forth. We listen to you, Kenneth.
I'm trying to.
You talking to me, Ray?
Listen.
Let him finish.
Okay.
Let him finish. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, Ray. These guys go way back. This is what I knew this was going to happen because Anthony and Kenny, they go way back. They always. But Ray, jump in here real quick. Okay. Are you
what happened was he didn't get the job because the ownership went to the players, and because of how MJ was dogging them out and all of that and treating them, they didn't want to play, so he didn't even bring them back as owner. They always say, oh, well, MJ got a raw deal. He was supposed to get ownership. No, he didn't get a raw deal. He talked himself out of that one because, again, nobody wanted to even be around him. They wasn't even having to play with him. They didn't even want him as an owner. They didn't even want him as an owner. They didn't even want him in management. That's why he didn't even get that job.
And Ray, what are your thoughts here?
We come on this panel, and this is an esteemed panel for the most part. Mikey Bad takes over here. I love you still, but one-word answers is absolutely unacceptable. But
I was gonna get back to it, my brother.
You just wanted to hear what I was gonna say. I already know. I already know. But
bro, Carl just told you, bro. We got Ant and Kenny. This is a rare moment, bro. I'm here for that. What you mean?
So you just came to watch.
I'm here for that.
Okay.
No, I got my takes though. Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna go right behind.
What disappoints me with Kenneth's point is it's a lot of personal animus when it comes to Kobe. Like we're not even talking about basketball. We talking about selfishness and quitting on the basketball floor and all these things that did happen. That's a fact. It did happen, but it's like I want to talk ball because if you're going to attack a person on a personal level, you know what I mean? Like you don't like these singular moments. That means that you're not taking time to highlight the positive moments. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to say that you don't think that Kobe is better than MJ, let's talk about that. Don't tell me about things that you don't like and he broke up a dynasty and all of these media jargons that have been refuted refuted by books upon top of books that have been written about this situation. So when you come on this live that people want to see to talk personal, I don't want to hear that. If you want to talk about basketball, if you want to talk about, but nah, I waited. I'm gonna talk now. Right. If you want to talk basketball, and we saying better, you know what I'm saying? If you want to say MJ is greater than Kobe, I'm here for that discussion. But if you want to say that MJ's better at the physical act of playing basketball, I wholeheartedly disagree. Kobe did everything better than Michael Jordan. Every aspect, every facet of the game, he did it better than he did. To that, you say what, Kenneth?
No, can I answer that? Kenny, let me answer
Go
that.
ahead,
I just wanted to watch. I'm sorry.
No, that's a basketball one. So when we talk about emotional, Ray, that may be how you feel, but statistically, we know that's not true.
It's irrelevant. Refute it, Mike. Don't refute it.
Okay,
Tell me how he's not better. You didn't.
Okay, statistically, there is nothing that Kobe does better than Michael Jordan.
Hold
Nothing.
on, Carl. What did I just say,
Nothing.
Carl? I said the physical act of playing the game. This man went to a calculator. Carry on, Mike.
So physical. So do you know that the stats are based on what you physically do, or do they make them up?
You can have bad games.
It's based on what
You can have bad games.
Where's
point,
Kobe
Ray.
on the scoring list? Where's Kobe on the scoring list?
Okay, all-time points. So Melo has
Where
more
is he?
points than
Where is
Hakeem
he?
Olajuwon. He's not better than Hakeem Olajuwon.
Where is he?
Where's Reggie Miller?
Oh, what does this have to do with it? I told you, it's personal.
We talking about
Yo, you gotta let it go.
Nah,
Either Reggie,
because you're like a
either
Pokemon.
okay,
All I
okay,
gotta do
guys,
is say
guys,
Reggie
guys.
Miller and you react.
Y'all gotta let it go.
Okay,
no,
Mike,
you
get
just
back to
said
your point.
statistically he didn't do nothing
Okay,
better, but
okay.
statistically he
Anthony,
scored more
let
points.
Mike get back to his point. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
What point?
You don't have one.
So the point is very simple.
Please,
if you look
make it.
statistically throughout their career and accomplishments, there is literally nothing Kobe has better than MJ. Nothing. Not points per game, not rebounds per game, not assists per game, not PER, not MVPs.
Yo,
Literally.
Kenneth,
That's why I say
let me
he's
can
a
I hear from you,
lesser
Kenneth?
version.
You seem like you are more logical man on this
He's a
panel. What's
lesser
up, Kenneth?
version.
So points don't matter.
I just told you points, rebounds, assists, steals.
Okay.
blocks.
All right. Kenny's been quietly,
Everything.
patiently waiting. Kenny, do you have a response to Ray Jarvis's question?
Well, Ray, if you have a problem with my emotionalities as towards Kobe, then you blame Carl Kalange, because when he brought me on this panel, everybody knows how I emotionally feel about Kobe. I'm not going to take away his personal accolades. I'm not going to take away. He did these things. He scored those points. MJ has a higher field goal percentage, I believe, right? He had higher. I think across the board, he probably had a bunch of higher stuff. I'll leave Mike to really delve into that. What I'm saying is, the sport of basketball, which I love, which I've watched since I was 12 years old, and I'm now 43, I'll tell you this, I had an emotional attachment to stars.
Oh, you're a Knicks fan?
Listen.
Oh.
All right. What they represented to the game and what they didn't, how they brought to the team and what they didn't. Some players make their teams better, some people make it not. So if you're a good player in a bad team, I'm supposed to laud you because of your accolades? Kobe was on a bad team for a good stretch when he was probably the best player in the league. But why? His game couldn't translate to his team. Part of basketball is making your teammates better.
Oh,
he didn't do that.
You mean like
MJ?
MJ?
Time out. Let me ask this.
You mean like MJ?
Let me ask this fair question though. Are you guys not emotionally attached to Kobe? I'm asking a fair question.
Listen,
I asked a fair question.
Let's be clear about this, because we're not going to waste time asking rhetorical questions. Absolutely. This whole panel is filled with emotions about this topic, so we're not even going to waste time on that. But to Kenneth's point, his game didn't translate? Are you kidding me?
Emotional arguments. We're not here for emotional arguments. We have facts.
Hold on. Wait.
Like 34, 35, and 47. Right. And this ain't in the early in his career.
Right.
This is in the prime of his career. His team was mediocre to 500 at best until Paul Gasol got there.
Absolutely.
And then they took it to another level.
So Paul
Gasol and everybody and Lamar Odom, that squad helped him translate his game to everybody else.
You are absolutely right. So
that's
in
team
the 04-05 season, right? If I'm not mistaken, we had the corpse of Vlade Divac on that team. We had the corpse of Laurent Prophet on that team. We had a few guards that for the life of me, Karen, I think Chucky Atkins was on this team. It was one of the worst built teams ever. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing where people, they love to do this. And you know, I promise that I wouldn't argue about Kobe, but there's times when sports fans who seem to be knowledgeable make these emotional-based debates or discussions, and they leave out things to boost up their point. The Western Conference was wild, crazy, reckless in the mid-2000s. Still is to this day. How the hell, as great as you're supposed to compete, can you carry hot garbage to a certain level? This ain't the Eastern
And he still did it and was up 3-1 on the Suns at one point.
This ain't the Eastern Conference where you can carry garbage. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
No, let me finish. I want to respond to you, sir. The 05-06 season, right? All they did was add Smush Parker. They got rid of Carell Butler for a bag of chips, and they won 45 games again in the best.
Let me just interject real quick. I know where you're going with this, and I'll just throw in this point real quick
because it points out the fallacy of what you just said.
I understand that, and I have a rebut because I know where you're going with this. What I'm saying is, Kobe was there for a long period of time, and I believe he forced the rebuild. He shipped out. He got Shaq shipped out. Right. They shipped out D-Fish. They shipped out a lot of those players. Right. So when they couldn't transition the way they probably should have transitioned, because they dumped everybody because of Kobe. So you want to say that they put a bad? You want to say they put a bad team together?
Don't happen.
Orchestrate.
Don't happen. That's a lie. That's a lie. The veto happened.
Before the
veto happened. That veto happened later.
First of all, Kobe didn't orchestrate anything. He made it clear to the organization.
He didn't hold them hostage and say, "I'm not going to sign until you straight Shaq."
That's the version you want to believe.
No, he didn't say that.
What happened?
When it was all said and done, the organization knew prior to the 2004 season that went completely to hell that there's no way Shaq and Kobe could play together. Kobe was on the way out. He made it clear that I'm out because I can't play with this guy, and vice versa. It's actually documented that Shaq as well as Kobe did not want to play with each other. The cooler story is to blame the young guy who was arrogant, when all the facts have come out years after the fact about how much of a clown Shaq was in the locker room from 06 to 2004. But if you want to browbeat Kobe because you don't like the guy, by all means. But the facts are what they are.
And the organization chose Kobe. Even with all of that said,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a quick question. How long after they signed? How long after they traded Shaq did they? How long after they traded Shaq did Kobe sign with the Lakers?
The Kobe signed with the. What do you mean?
He was a free agent.
He was leaving. It's documented.
Right. So how long after the trade they traded Shaq away did Kobe sign on the dotted line with the Lakers?
The exact time, bro. It was like 15 years ago. Come on.
Oh, you don't remember that? You remember everything else, but you don't remember that?
You want me to count the
days
in between?
That's interesting. That's interesting.
This is what I talk about when people want to be petty and emotional.
I feel continue.
We can talk. Or if you want to be quiet, put your clothes away.
Okay. So, Mike, what are your thoughts over here, man? You've been pretty quiet.
My man Ray loves to do this, man.
What am I doing?
Every time somebody rebuts his points, you're emotional.
Because y'all talk with bare emotion.
All the time.
Especially you.
Spewing up. You got Ant with a Kobe mural in his background. You got Ray, who's
the logo.
The logo. And they're calling everybody emotional.
But again, Mike Miller, pastor, based on what he said, I'm giving him facts. I've even accepted the points. Hold on. I've even accepted the points that he made that I agree with. But you can feel the slander coming through the screen from this man. You know what I'm saying? Look at what he just did before you started talking. That is world-class slander right there.
He told you. But hold on.
He didn't even have nothing to say about MJ. It was just all Kobe.
You acknowledge that this is an emotional conversation. You have your.
I didn't admit that it was a slanderous conversation. No, I could be emotional, stay on point.
Slander is just a term you're using, but that doesn't mean.
Okay.
What the hell?
Can we listen? Can we move? Listen. Can we move the emotional
again?
My point.
Kobe was the better shooter.
No, it's always going to be emotional. I'm making my point. Carl, can I make my? No, he's not. Statistically, how? My thing is this: in terms of watching basketball, we all watch basketball. There is nothing that Kobe does. Kobe is like a lesser version. He does everything more or less great. MJ did it greater. In terms of a great scorer, MJ was a greater scorer. In their prime, MJ would average more points. He's a greater scorer. In terms of defense, MJ was a greater defender. Kobe was a great defender. MJ was greater. In terms of rebounding, MJ, we don't really count that, but it counts. MJ was just a better player than Kobe Bryant.
So
he's just a better player.
So we ignore, and this is why it's difficult to talk to certain people about this topic. Because what they do is when they throw these betters and whatever the hell else Mike is saying out there, they ignore circumstance, right? I feel like I could probably talk to Kenneth more logically than Mike because we ignore circumstance. MJ this, and this, and this, and this. And it's like the minute Kobe Bryant was allowed to be Kobe Bryant in full totality, we saw what he was. And the minute he got Pau Gasol, He realized that I cannot be a 30-point-a-night scorer for this team to function. You put Kobe Bryant in any situation that dictates winning, he does what's necessary to win. It is completely documented. And when you put him next to trash, he did the best that he could with trash. Again, in the Western Conference, he took that hot garbage team to 45 wins. How? Please explain that to me.
How many times have Jordan scored 81
Did Michael
points?
Jordan take trash to the playoffs?
He did for his first 7 seasons.
No.
One person took 31-win team to the playoffs. The other team took a 45-win team.
For 7 years.
And hold on, does conference not matter?
I'm answering it.
Does conference not matter?
Oh, yes.
It doesn't matter to Mike.
It
doesn't matter to Mike.
That
was a hard
Kobe was in the
conference.
worst conference, and in 4 years, you know, they made it to the playoffs one year. They struggled to make it the next year. We're talking about, again, circumstance
in the East,
matters.
where teams under 500 make the playoffs.
I like that you said circumstance. We all just saw the last game.
Make it make
what
sense,
were
Mike?
the Bulls before Michael Jordan? What were the Bulls? The franchise. What were they?
The running Coke Circus or something like that.
Then they got Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan.
What we doing here? Hold on, Carl. For the record, what we doing here is we're celebrating a 31-win playoff team while knocking down a 45-win playoff team who played tougher competition. I just want the record to show that.
And they didn't just bring in Michael Jordan.
Go ahead, Mike.
They didn't just bring in Michael Jordan.
Nah, you just talking.
The circumstance for the Bulls they were a horrible franchise. They got Michael Jordan.
No amount of words is going to make what you say make sense.
Hold on. So wait. Stay right there. So they got Michael Jordan with the same exact team that they was horrible with. Other things changed around that.
Obviously, they had to get other players.
So why did you just say Michael Jordan then?
Because Michael Jordan because he was the catalyst. Do you know how basketball works?
And then it's a team. You win because of the team, but you're trying to say they won because of Michael Jordan.
Why am I talking to you about basketball again?
See, exactly. Don't run. Why you running?
You see how Mike tries to flip his argument based on winning?
Okay,
I'm talking about 81 points.
Let me restore
I'm
some
talking
order
about
here.
stuff only Will did.
Okay,
shut
up. Listen, shut up real quick, okay? Can we restore some order? Is it safe to say that both were on bad teams that led their teams to the playoffs? They both did it. Mike did it with 31 wins. Kobe did it with 45 wins. Is that safe to say, right?
So tell them not to go there.
So they got help.
Carl, can I interject real quick?
Go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead.
The difference between them, Mike just got to he was a rookie year, then he break his foot his sophomore year. Kobe was in the league for like 8-10 years by that time when his team was terrible.
That's not Kobe's problem.
It's not Kobe's problem. I'm just saying if we're going to compare their level of
that also diminished him. Let's not act like him coming off the bench.
And one more thing, just to put context on what Jordan was doing. He was playing in a league where you could get clothesline when you went down the lane.
Stop it. They changed that because of Jordan.
They
changed that because of Jordan.
He was already there.
Go ahead.
They changed
I'm saying he didn't have a whole career.
Okay. Do we want to look at accolades now?
Nah.
Accolades don't matter.
Because Jordan is greater than Kobe. Like, that's established. The resume dictates greatness.
The resume dictates.
But as far as who is better, Kobe is better.
And what makes him that? Because why? Because of the eye test? Or
Again,
what?
skills. Yeah, I just told you. The skills and everything that he did. Like, again, when did Jordan 81? They don't want to talk about it.
Cole played in the era where they allowed
So Devin Booker's better than Jordan?
In the legal defense era.
Right.
Devin Booker's better than Jordan?
Devin Booker scored more points than Jordan also?
He scored 70, so he's better.
No, has he scored more points total than Jordan also?
So it's the point total and
everything
total.
Together. Yes,
but you know what?
That's your logic. Okay.
How many seasons did Kobe play compared to Mike, though? How many seasons did Kobe play compared to Mike?
It's not his fault he quit.
I'm not saying that. I'm just asking the question.
So don't bring it up. That's what you're saying.
I'm just asking the question, though.
That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
So then LeBron is automatically better than Kobe then, right?
Yeah.
How?
Because he has more points.
So what other scoring feats than
exactly.
You're talking about scoring? No, I can name other scoring feats. I just ran you down other scoring feats. I just ran you down other scoring feats.
Thank you.
I said it. See, look, what are you talking about? No, what are you talking about? Did I say it's one thing or did I say it's a multitude of things?
No, but you keep mentioning the scoring, though. You did mention the scoring, Anthony. You did.
Exactly. And did I say, again, did I say it was just one thing, it was scoring, or did I say that Kobe has more scoring feats?
Anthony, explain
Kobe has more scoring feats.
I'd like him to explain himself.
You can't. That's
Kobe
the
has more scoring feats.
Scoring feats. What do you mean? Explain.
Again, the 81 points.
Defensively, Kobe
60
played against better
MJ has
wings.
10
He
scoring
was a better
titles.
all-ball defender. He was a better team defender. He played against better people at his position. These things
Michael
are all
was a better
documented. Why are we not talking
individual
about that?
MJ was a better individual defender.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He was a defensive
That's a
player of the
lie.
year.
That's why he wasn't.
What are you
No, he
talking
wasn't.
about?
Okay,
No, he
that don't
wasn't.
mean
Defensive
nothing.
player of the year.
I
What are you
don't give
talking
a
about?
damn about a defensive player of the year. Who did he
That's
play
just
against?
like
So this is
Who did he
what-
defend?
so
Who did he
Carl,
defend in
this
his
is called
position?
personal preference.
Who,
That's
I'm
what this
asking
is.
you a question,
Just
but you just want to run
just
your mouth.
because what's his name
Who
was the
did he
defensive player of
defend?
the year don't make him
You
better
swear
than
you know
AD.
basketball,
That doesn't
right,
make him
Mike?
better.
Hold on. You swear you know
Who's the
basketball,
rebel?
right, Mike? Who did he defend in his
course.
position? Who was the
Who
two
did?
guards? Who were the wing
So do you
players?
understand? So let
Answer
me
the
explain
question.
Answer the
to you how
question.
that-
Don't
Answer the
answer the
question.
question.
No,
Answer the
how
question.
to
Answer the
teach. You want me to
question.
teach you? Sit down,
Answer the
student, so I
question.
can teach you. So let me explain it.
Let me get ready to take my headphones off. It's about to be some
Basketball
nonsense.
players, they don't play. They
All right.
don't
I
just
already
guard
wasn't gonna answer
their
the
position.
question.
They guard
I
the
ain't talking about
perimeter. MJ's
Right.
job was to guard the perimeter.
Right, but
not
Kobe
just
Kobe
shooting guards.
guarded the
He
best
guarded
perimeter
small
players.
forwards. He
MJ
guarded point
didn't.
guards.
Who did they put on Magic? Was it MJ or Pippen? Whose job was it
Oh,
to
one
guard the
game.
best
Okay,
the
one
best
game.
players? No, it was
Oh,
a
in that
series.
series?
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
after
one
the
series.
one
Who
game
were
that
the wing
MJ was on
players
them, they
that
won.
Jordan went
guys.
against?
Oh no,
Okay.
Carl, don't stop it now.
No,
the
no,
one
wait,
game
Kenny
that
has a
MJ was
question.
on them.
Can I ask
Kenny
you
has
one
a
question?
question.
Can I ask
Kenny
one
has a
question?
question. Go ahead, Kenny.
So when we compare Kobe having more points because he played more years, it's like that's not his fault.
Who
you know?
did he
can't-
guard? He
No,
said
I'm just saying
defensively.
he can't
Who did he
control.
guard?
He can't control the amount of time he played. That's not his fault. He played 20 years, and that's what it is. But
That is his fault.
It's Michael
He
Jordan's
decided to
fault
quit.
that he played in the era that he played. So now we blaming people for when they're born.
Again,
That's what we doing?
there's no blame. It's a simple question of who did Jordan defend, right? The
Right.
era dictates difficulties, right? Kobe
Cool.
went against way better competition at his position. And he was responsible for guarding the ones, the twos, and the threes because the
And
Kobe
stood in
haters,
front of them.
the Kobe
Right,
haters.
but again,
Hold on, let me finish.
Go
The
ahead,
Kobe haters will tell you that when he was Pippen, right? He did a better job of being a Pippen than Pippen did because he was a lockdown defender and he ran the offense. We don't want to talk about that. I asked this guy, Mike, who did Jordan defend in his era? He can't answer the question. He talks a bunch of
Yes,
nonsense.
I did. I
No,
answered
you
it.
didn't.
You just didn't
didn't
like
answer
my
anything.
answer. That's the
Nah,
difference.
you answered a bunch of trash.
It's different.
Per
Okay,
usual.
Like the
so-
answer
okay.
doesn't make it not
usual.
an answer.
Why? Okay, so
Okay,
why
so let me
didn't
ask you a
MJ
question.
guard the
Guys,
best
Guys,
players?
let me
No,
ask
I
this
got
question.
another question for
No,
him.
wait, I
Why
have a
didn't
question.
MJ guard the best perimeter
Let me
players?
ask this question: is it fair to do?
Who
We were
were
talking
they,
about-
Mike?
So
Mark
when
Price?
they played the Pistons, you know that Michael Jordan had to guard Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars? You know that, right? You do know that.
We all saw the
I
footage,
got
Why do I
bro.
have to teach y'all
We all
basic
saw the footage,
basketball?
bro.
You do know
Fine,
that,
man.
right?
They didn't beat the
How
Pistons
old is
until
Isaiah
Isaiah got
Thomas?
hurt.
Yo, listen.
They
They
yo,
didn't
we
beat the
all saw
Pistons
the
until
footage.
Isaiah got hurt. Are you
about?
He didn't
stupid?
beat the
Carl,
The
Pistons.
Pistons
until
used to
Patrick
wipe the
left.
floor with
Go
them.
I want
ahead.
to hear your question.
The Pistons used to
ahead.
wipe the
Okay.
floor with them. Are you
I want to
dumb?
hear your question, Carl.
Okay,
I wanna hear
is
your
it
question.
fair to
How does
compare
Mike get to
eras?
talk basketball?
Listen, is
Right.
it
Like, what is he talking about?
is it fair to compare eras and difficulties of eras? Is that not taking a step down? Is that fair?
Yes,
Is that-
because they always say Bill Russell and Wilt played against bus drivers and milkmen and stuff
but
like
is that fair to
no,
them, though?
No, it's the
not
same
fair.
thing.
It's not
the
fair
same
to them,
thing.
though,
It's
no?
the same thing.
Is it fair to
I don't
compare
think
eras?
that's a stupid argument
It's the same thing.
against Will Chamberlain. I think that's a stupid argument against Will Chamberlain.
Again, is it a stupid argument against
No,
Kobe and Mike to compare
Mike
eras?
is on the record
Exactly.
saying that. He's always said that.
Mike has always said what?
Mike has always said that was a stupid argument against Will Chamberlain. He's always said that.
It's a
But
stupid
that's
argument.
not-
I
I don't
don't
know
use
what-
errors as
I'm
that's
not
a
making
stupid
that argument. I asked
play when you
Mike
play.
a simple question. When I'm talking about what we saw physically, again, the physical
Yeah.
acts of playing defense.
Yeah.
Who faced the tougher competition? That's all I'm asking.
In terms of the-
But it's a loaded question because it's the
It's not
next
a loaded
generation.
question. It's a question.
It
you
is
don't
a
know the
question.
You
answer.
know the
Can I
answer
explain how it's a loaded
is
question?
not
not a
Jordan.
loaded
That's why it's
question.
loaded.
Okay, so
It's
do we
not.
need to
You know
make
the answer ain't
so do we need
Jordan.
to
That's
make
why it's
okay?
loaded.
So do we need to make a list of the players that they defended? So Jordan, you would say defended in the 80s and the 90s. We'd have to look at the two guards from the 80s and the 90s to Kobe's two guards that he defended in the
Not
late
just
the two
90s.
guards.
And
Let's do
not
it.
just the two guards. Michael Jordan
Let's
had to
do
guard
it.
the perimeter, not just the two guards. He guarded point guards and small
Yeah,
forwards.
right. But,
Oh,
but
let's
when the
talk about
Bulls
point
got
guards
good, it was
too.
because Pippen
Okay.
was
Because
Go
Kobe
ahead.
was doing the
okay,
same.
okay. So can you put Gary Payton in that
Go
conversation
ones
then.
in the-
Okay, can you put that Mike guarded Gary Payton? You would say that, right? He guarded Isaiah Thomas. He guarded Joe Dumars.
Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler, right?
One. That was the first one.
Okay. Anybody else? Am I missing anybody else among that list that Mike guarded?
I'll give you all of them just so he can have some sort of a list. Go ahead.
You can give me all of them? What?
No, I'm because really he didn't
but
personally
Kenny's
guard
point is
all of
that
them. But yeah,
how can we
we'll give
say
him.
the era matters, but how
Now
can
let's
we say
go to
the era
Kobe.
doesn't matter?
Let's
but then
go to
look at his
Kobe.
era and say, well, who did he
Let's
play
go to
against?
Kobe.
It's the same thing everybody says
Let's
against
go
Will.
to Kobe.
Oh, well,
Hold
who
on,
did he play against? His numbers
hold
are
on a second.
numbers,
Okay,
bro.
so let's go to okay.
Based on what you're saying, Michael, how can you definitively say that Jordan is a better defender than Kobe? Definitively, based on your own argument.
So basically, and this is what I do with Wilt. When everybody has era excuses, because everybody can say my era was better than this
Right,
era.
but
So the numbers help us decide
You're
how
right.
we can say who did what.
Okay, so let's okay,
but,
so
but
now
the numbers can be skewed because just like when we did the overrated discussion, you tried to say Reggie averaged 31 points a game in the series, but he only played 3 games. So how can we
that's
really?
not what I said, though, Ray.
It is.
That's not what I said,
That's
Ray.
exactly what you
Okay.
said.
No, exactly what I said was
Numbers
is
can be
that
manipulated
y'all
the same
noted
way.
that Reggie,
The physical
no,
act
this is
states
what I
that
said.
Kobe
And
faced
see, this is
tougher
why we don't.
competition
This is why we
and
don't do
did it
this
better.
right. We don't do it right. This is what I
Yo,
said.
Mace called you out on the show, bro.
No,
He called you out on the show.
Okay,
What are you
all
talking
right.
about?
Okay,
You don't
guys,
even remember.
let's
Carl,
look at
can I
Kobe.
explain my point? Carl, let me explain my point.
Go
The
ahead.
point was very simple. Is that if you're going to take someone's resume, then take their resume. I said, if you're going to only focus on Reggie's
Exactly.
resume
So why
in
do
the
you
regular
not
season,
focus on the fact that
focus on
Kobe
his
scored more points than
resume
MJ?
throughout the playoffs? And so throughout Reggie's resume
Bro,
throughout the
but you
playoffs,
highlighted that he
25,
averaged 31
25.
points per game in
Okay,
a series,
guys.
and the series was a 3-game sweep. You did that.
Okay, guys, so let's look at who
But
Kobe
there
defended.
were other series, Ray.
Okay, so who did Kobe defend?
AI.
The point of the
He
matter
defended
is that numbers can be skewed. That's the why I brought it up.
Okay,
so
okay,
to
guys,
say
guys,
you're
guys.
going to use
Oh
numbers
my
is
God.
not a fair
Okay,
metric.
guys,
If you need to mute us, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
End all be all.
Okay,
I know
okay. So Ray
that.
Jarvis, to your point that Kobe guarded harder players. Who are those players on that list that you could think of?
Yeesh. Let's start with one of his greatest contemporaries, Allen Iverson, huh? We could start there.
Yes, sir.
Tracy
Oh.
McGrady, Vince Carter, the
Ask the
legendary.
question.
Oh my God! Now
But
I'm
wait-
answering the question. He
But
wants
wait a
to
minute.
jump
But
in.
wait a
What
minute.
they
But wait a
do
minute. to
against
be-
him? What did they do against him? It doesn't matter if he guards them and they average 40 against him. We have
No.
to know what their numbers were
But
against
also
him.
too, if you look at guys like
Oh
that,
my
those
goodness.
guys in the
Literal,
East and
there's
What?
literal footage of Kobe locking up your favorite wing player of his era. Like I don't even.
So what did
understand
what did MJ do against those people
No,
we just
that's what
named?
I'm-
Since that's
Yeah,
a standard
no,
now,
I don't
and we
wanna
started
hear from this guy
since that's a
anymore,
standard now,
Oh my
what did
goodness.
MJ do
I'm
against those
trying
players?
to
Guarded
get to
him.
a
If he
point.
gives them 40,
Let me
it
get to
don't
a
matter.
point
If
here,
he
though.
guarded-
Ray Jarvis.
But you don't even know the numbers
those
yourself,
players-
so why even say
Aren't
that?
those players in the Eastern Conference, knowing that Kobe played them twice a year, and also
I was trying to finish before Mike
okay,
Miller
go ahead, finish, guys.
jumped in.
Okay, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? We had guys like Steve Nash in the Western Conference, huh? You had guys
Yeah,
like
but it
Terrell Brandon, who were good once upon a time. Tracy, when he came to the Western Conference, he felt the clamps. We could keep going. Quentin Richardson, even the scrubs got it work from Kobe. You had Rajon Rondo. You know, Carl. Rajon got locked up in the finals twice by Kobe. You seen it. Ray Allen, when he was in the Western Conference. You saw it. Carmelo Anthony
Pierce.
saw it. D-Wade saw it. Paul Pierce saw it. Everybody caught the clamps on Kobe at one point or the other. Like, I'm not making this up. You can't even say it's emotional. It's all on footage. We all seen it.
Did we say J Kidd?
Steve
Or
Smith,
don't count?
Steve Smith, Portland era. Peja Stojakovic, Michael Finley. I could keep going, son.
Mike, what do you say to that?
It's all documented. He saw it. He saw it.
Actually,
Hold on. Let's give
Rondo
Jordan another
has like a
player.
point, bro.
Nah, because I don't like Carl. You know that
Go ahead,
already.
Kenny. He brought
All
Rondo.
right, guys, we're coming up
Oh,
on
that's why
time.
you did that? That was for Carl. That was for Carl. That was for Carl.
I know
get
it's
it.
for me.
That was for
Listen,
Carl.
I'm already getting all the smoke this week
You
from
were
Paul
right
Pierce.
for Carl.
I don't need any more. But
Who made
Speaking
more
of all the
tougher
smoke,
shots?
Stephen Jackson caught the clamps too. You want to talk about all
Right.
the smoke?
all right, Kenny, final point here because we're gonna wrap up. Final point.
5 years from now, people be making the same argument about Kobe that he ain't playing against nobody. That's why LeBron's better.
They'll never say that.
So you can
No,
always
never say
go.
They'll never say that.
You could
kidding
always
me?
play with the numbers. You could always fudge whatever they
Hold on,
want.
did we say LeBron? Oh yeah, LeBron.
Hold
too.
on,
I'm
hold
sorry.
on. Let him finish his
sorry.
last point. Go ahead, Kenny.
I'm sorry.
Right. So it is arbitrary. They want to be emotional about their love for Kobe, and that is perfectly fine.
And you
But
are.
when people just speak facts about, they add on to what his legacy really was.
Wow.
It is what it is. He's just a carbon copy of Michael Jordan. He tried his best, and he did everything he could to try to get to 6 and to be on Michael Jordan's level. He just fell a little short.
But the veto,
in every
you're right.
single way.
They gave Michael Jordan everything, but they vetoed Kobe. You're
Okay,
right. You're
Anthony,
so right.
Anthony, final points.
Final points is, again, tough shot maker, Kobe. Who was the better shooter? Kobe, from all ranges, not just that little not the mid-range killer that MJ was, not when they brought the three-point line in, and then MJ finally, or he had over 40 or a little close to 50% or whatever from three. Real stuff. Not, nobody there or whatever, not the push-off and, shots with nobody there. Shots when 5 people on them. Kobe, the supposed to be logo. Again, defender. We listed like how many players? How many Hall of Famers compared to the other guy? What? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
I said he's
on both sides of the ball, he's better. These guys just have emotional arguments. Now, or from now on, not only do we need to call him Black Mamba, but we need to call him Logo. That's all I got to say.
Mike, final thoughts.
I love Ant, man.
We all love Ant, man. Go ahead.
Yo, it's ridiculous, yo. Yo, bottom line, man, Kobe was great. Kobe was a legend. But as Kenny said earlier, MJ was the standard, and everything that Kobe did was great. It just was always a tick below what MJ did. You look at MVPs, you look at production, you look at everything. It was just, he was great at it, but MJ was the greatest at it.
Ray, final thoughts.
When it's all said and done, when we look back on
he's
Kobe's
still
career,
great. He's still.
God damn. Even in my final statement, I'm getting cut off. This is crazy.
Okay, go ahead, Ray.
All right, I'm back.
Can I finish?
This is the conversation just about. I wasn't done yet. That's why you get to know. I wasn't done yet.
I didn't know you weren't done. You got cut off, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, my fault. My fault. Basically, this conversation right now has pretty much boiled down to the Lakers fans prefer Kobe. I'm sure Bulls fans prefer Michael Jordan. So, but if you just look objectively outside of your fandom, then of course Michael Jordan was better than Kobe.
Okay.
Ray, final thoughts.
When it's all said and done, when we look back on Kobe's career, there's going to be emotional haters who will try to downgrade what he's done and try to point out singular moments when in actuality, the totality of his work, based on what he did on the floor against who he did it against, speaks to his greatness. On top of the fact that no other person, dead or alive, had his peers hold him up to a level outside of maybe Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Kobe, when you go from front to back to the 2 decades that Kobe played in the league, he's the most regarded athlete outside of Jordan in the NBA. And you could even say now with the younger era coming in, they look to the Bean as that guy, as the basketball standard. He didn't get that status because he rode a coattail. He didn't get that status because he didn't do certain things on the basketball floor. He was great. And as soon as Del Harris got the hell out the way, he was allowed to be great. The Lakers won, and they won some more. When the Buss family got out their feelings, you know what happened? They won, and they won some more. You know who's in the middle of all of that? Kobe Bryant. I don't even understand what we're talking about here.
It's true, because you can say the same thing about Jordan, who is above higher, the icon, right? So there's Jordan and there's Kobe.
No,
everybody's wearing Jordan sneakers. Nobody's wearing Kobe sneakers.
That's changing by the day, but
yes.
Jordan's peers think he's the greatest of all time. They said it.
Yeah, when you and Kobe's peers feel the same way about him, and they're getting much louder. And you look when you watch an NBA game, when you watch an NBA game, you know what you see on the floor a lot of Kobe shoes from a lot of NBA players. I don't know.
Kobe thought Jordan was better than him.
But Kenneth, when
y'all
you're free,
that, right?
I want to have you on the pod, bro. I'd like to talk to you without Mike Miller making noise.
No, he didn't. Never in his life did he say that.
He told
him to his face he wasn't.
Okay, Kenny, did you hear that invite? Kenny, did you hear that invite from Ray Jarvis? Okay, you guys, thank you so much. This was great for a last-minute debate. You guys make sure you check out the Great Area featuring Ray Jarvis, Rap Roundtable 2. Check out the Sports Hit List content. Tomorrow is the B Show featuring Mrs. Deborah Voltaire Coulange. You can also check out the Smoke and Mirrors podcast on Mondays and Fridays on the Sports, presented by the Sports Hit List on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network at 1 p.m. Gentlemen, I'll talk to you soon. This was great.
Lakers in 5. We like that.
Sure thing.
We like that. Repeat.
Mike, I'm going to see you on the Gray Area
like
too,
that.
bro.
You know I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna pull up, man. Do that.
You guys take care. One love.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.